What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Homie Hangout, where we help others move in excellence. And it went down Sunday night in the county jail in Monterey County, right? So, five Norteños are now facing a ton of charges um, for getting off on the deputies, right? So, what happened is this. So, in K-Pod, that's how you know that they're Northerners, right? Because that's all that's housed in K-Pod. I've never been to the Monterey County Jail except to visit a guy for a case I was working on. He was housed in K-Pod, but K-Pod is very well known throughout the system, and those who have done time as Northerners, as the Norteño pod of the Monterey County Jail. So in K-Pod, around 6 o'clock on Sunday, deputies get word that somebody's inside tattooing, right? So they go inside the pod and they confront a guy. I think based on the charges that it was Jose Mejia, right? 26-year-old. So they confront him. He kind of backs up, sort of pushes off of the deputies. Um, he doesn't want to get jammed up, right? Clearly. And then the two deputies get surrounded by four other guys, right? And I'll run through who they are in a minute. But so they get surrounded by four other guys who then take off on him, right? Start putting hands on him. Mario Rodriguez, it appears, based on the charges, 19-year-old, he snatches the baton from one of the deputies, starts hitting deputies in the head and the back. Um, other deputies rush in to respond, and he winds up throwing it and hitting one of those deputies, causing serious injury to them. And when it's all said and done, right, there's three deputies that go to the hospital. Two of them by ambulance, one of them by squad car. That one was probably pretty messed up. My guess is two males, one female. Don't know who were the ones that rushed in versus who were the ones that kind of jammed them up to begin with. But now you have five dudes that are all facing attempted 187, conspiracy to commit a crime, gang activity, assault with a deadly weapon, battery with serious bodily injury, right? Those are all felonies. So everybody's facing those charges. And then after they wound up getting control of the pod, deputies are hot, right? They're pissed. So they run through and they're searching everything. They wind up busting one of the guys who was involved in the attack on the deputies for possession and sale of narcotics. So the individuals are this, right? You have 19-year-old Mario Rodriguez. He was doing time on a robbery. He'd been down the longest of all these guys, right? They've been down since October of 2021. So my guess is that, obviously he caught the case as a juvenile, right? Because he's 19 in 2021, he caught the case. Um, my guess is he just got sentenced to do his time that way. So he probably did his time in the hall, and then when he was 18, went to the county, and is just serving out that sentence. That seems to be an awfully long time to be fighting a robbery case, but I don't know. That's just my guess. Regardless, he's now charged with all those felonies plus the felony of taking the baton from the officer. Right? You have 27-year-old Joy Valdez, was in there since August of last year for assault with a deadly weapon and threats. Um, he's charged with those five cases. 20-year-old Adam Villarreal had been down since March of 2022, and he was in there for a hot one, or he's in there fighting a hot one of Anthony Joel Suarez, I guess. And he there was another guy picked up in that case. That dude, the victim, was 20 years old when they were found deceased execution style on the side of San Juan Grade Road by Crazy Horse Canyon. That's kind of a famous road between Salinas, between Monterey County and whatever that next county. I think it's like San Benito or something like that. But they've for years and years and years they've been finding bodies up there. They've been finding bodies up there on fire. They've been finding like that's the place to go to dump a body. Not suggesting violence, but that's not an unusual place, honestly, to find somebody who was unalived someplace else sitting there, or somebody was unalived on the side of the road. So if you're ever riding around with people from Salinas and they start driving up that road, uh, you might want to start saying your final words to yourself and last prayers and stuff, because that might be a wrap. Uh, but anyway, so they find the victim over there. And another guy is originally picked up for it also, Vicente Alejandro Aguirre, but he's still in the county and he's facing a boatload of charges, but not a hot one. So I don't know. But anyways, the fourth person is Justin Solorio, right? 27 years old. He's been down since November of last year. I'm not sure what he was doing time for originally, but now he has the attempt at 187, the conspiracy, the gang activity, the ADW, the battery with the serious bodily injury, and he's the one that has the possession of sale, right? Which is also a felony inside of the jail. And then Jose Mejia, right, who I think is kind of at the center of all this, right, has been down since October of last year. He's 26. He's in there for a robbery and some other charges originally. Now he has all those charges that everybody else does, and also a couple misdemeanors, right? Resisting and obstructing an officer, and then of drug possession. So why did this go down? Why did everybody just crash out over this situation? Obviously, I wasn't there, not 100% sure, but I do have some thoughts. So it could have been just as simple as didn't like the vibe, right? COs came in and Mejia just wasn't feeling it. When they talk about having controlled substance possession in there, it doesn't say what it is. So it could have been trees, it could have been something that's more of a harder drug. Who knows? But it could be maybe in his mind because maybe he had a little bundle in his pocket, right? And it's been common for many many years now for Norteños. You can't get busted with hot paperwork, right? And if you have hot material on you, this is in prison. For the most part, if you have hot material on your person and the COs try to jam you up, you better get off, right? You better get off on them and try to dispose of it. Now, the most crucial thing in that is paperwork. And you should have your paperwork secured at all times. Anyways, it shouldn't be somewhere that a CO can just grab it out of your pocket or out of your waistband or something else. But sometimes people are in a cell and they're slipping, right? They got to sitting out for some reason. All of a sudden, the COs rush. They come to the cell and they say cuff up, and you got hot material sitting on your locker. You can't just cuff up, right? That's the end of that's the end of your career, right? Still might be the end of the career, even if you get off on them, but at least you have a better chance. And the idea is you don't let them just have this kind of stuff. Now, I've heard some places and some people extend that to all contraband, right? You you never just surrender any contraband that you have. If you're caught slipping and a CO presses you, then oh well, you put yourself in that position by not having your contraband secured. So you better get off and try to get rid of it. Is that what happened here? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's the rules in Monterey County. I'm just going based off of what is publicly available. And I know some people are going to wonder, like, therefore, why would these dudes crash out over a tattoo? It may not have been just about a tattoo, right? There may be more to it, or it could just be over the tattoo, right? Not the tattoo, but just over being pressed. Maybe the deputies came in with an attitude, and folks weren't really feeling it. But if you're in a situation like that, and uh, people get up to move, right, and the fellas are making a move, then oftentimes other people are going to go as well, right? And you back the play of the people that are with you, and then you guys sort that out in the end. Uh, what's going to happen to Jose Mejia internally, I think remains to be seen. Um, it could turn out that he's in a lot of trouble, right? Because these are serious charges. This is having a big impact on a lot of people's lives, and so this may be something that leads to some internal consequences for some people down the line. Who knows? But again, kind of the headline, right, is Monterey County Jail. Um, now you got five dudes, all fairly young, right? 19, 27, 20, 27, 26, fairly young guys. None of them, with the exception of Adam Villarreal, who was charged with a hot one. None of the rest of them really fighting any serious charges, right? To be honest, robberies, is what it looks like for the most part. Assault cases. So, yeah, you can get some time for that, but those aren't super serious, right? And a lot of these dudes got priors and they were on parole or they were on probation, so that could factor into. Um, but now they're facing attempt 187, conspiracy, gang activity, ADW, and battery with serious bodily injury. If this was a case that involved people who were not deputies, I think it's pretty clear that that attempt 187 charge would be dropped, right, and would be reduced. Not dropped completely, but would be reduced. The fact that these are deputies, I don't think the DA is going to be in a mood to strike deals. So it remains to be seen if that's actually what these dudes are convicted of. I think they go to trial, and I find it hard to believe that every one of them is convicted for the attempted 187. If you put hands on somebody, right, and you just lump somebody up and sock them up a few times, that's not an attempted 187 charge. And we don't have a felony murder rule in California anymore. So I don't know that everybody is necessarily convicted on all these charges. I think this is just the first stage, and we'll see how it plays out. But nonetheless, um, you never know what's going to happen in jail. You never know. I can almost guarantee that those guys were not planning on picking up those charges Sunday afternoon, right? And yeah, here they are. So, anyways, help others move with excellence, man. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it, and help your community because they need you. Take care.